because let me just start off with, I know my title is triggering, and I did that on purpose because I really want to get this message out. I've been saying it for years, um, and some people get it, most people don't, but it's a work in progress. Usually, when you hear the truth, it hurts. The truth hurts, and ignorance is bliss. And as a society and as a people, we've been living in a lot of ignorance and definitely indulging and enjoying ignorance is bliss. The truth hurts, and we've been indulging and enjoying and being very blissful in our ignorance. And I said that to say this. There is no such thing as black people. Black people do not exist. The only time a black person exists is when they're dead. When the human body decays, it turns black. Um, when there's black mold, there's a problem. If the water came out of your faucets and like you bought a water bottle and the water was black, you would not drink that water bottle. You would not clean your dishes with the black faucet water coming out of your faucet. If your plants turned black, you would not. I'm sorry, I had my heat on. That's why I was making that noise. Anyway, um, it's freezing in Chicago. Moving on. If your plants that you water and fertilize turned black, you wouldn't continue to water or fertilize it. If your food that you just had on your plate was green, red, orange, a very colorful plate, and then all those colors turned black, you wouldn't eat that food. There is absolutely nothing positive about the word black. Um, it's very negative. It is decay, dirt, mold, disease. Like if your fingers or your feet, toes turned black, you will be obligated and recommended to cut off those fingers and toes that turned black because it's no longer good. It's no longer useful. It's no longer valuable. Um, Black is a curse. And all these years, all these hundreds and years of calling us black when we're melanated is a scientific term to describe the pigment in your skin, your hair, your eyes, and etc. It scientifically explains what we look like because no one looks black. No one walking this earth that's breathing air is black. The only time you're black is when you're no longer breathing air and you're decaying. That's when you turn black. It's not a good thing to be black. It's never been a good thing to be black. There's no such thing as a black person. Now, you can be a melanated person of African descent, a melanated person of indigenous descent, like from people that were here first Indians and Native Americans. So, yeah, there is no such thing as black people. Because you're not a color. No one's a color. There's no such thing as white people. There's no such thing as yellow people, pink people, or black people. You're not a color. That's a preschool level adjective that does not describe us as a people, us as a race, us as a ethnicity. It doesn't describe us at all. A lot of terms that we took on as our people doesn't make sense. African American doesn't make sense. You're not a continent country. Negro was a negative term. Colored was a negative term. I do understand that nigga mean king and queen. That's how we pronounced it. And then when we when some of us got here, they started using it as nigger because that's the way they pronounced it, and that was the negative way. But either way, all those terms never felt right with me. I didn't feel like an African American. I never felt black. I never felt colored. I never felt negroed, brown, tan. Like I never wanted to be a color. Like Michael Jackson Rest in peace. He was a little weird, but he was on to something. I don't want to live my life being a color. Me neither. Never did. I've always been slightly melanated. Because you could be highly melanated, dark skin, slightly melanated, light skin, and then I feel like white people will be called non-melanated or very lack of melanation. But either way, like I said, the term black never felt right with me. When I was called black, little light skinned girl, black girl, when I was growing up, that term didn't feel right to me. And then I'm like, oh, that's because you want to be white, you want to talk white, you want to be white. I'm like, no, I don't want to. White doesn't, the sound isn't a color, so I don't want to be a sounding color. I don't want to be a color. It never did. That always bothered me, and it still bothers me to this day. And then when I say this speech to people about the water and your plants and your feet and the mold in your house, if you lived in a house and they said there was black mold in your house, you wouldn't stay there. Like, nothing about that word black got positivity to it. And then that whole James Brown situation, on Black and I'm Proud, you do understand that James Brown was a crackhead and most likely made that song while actively on crack, a substance made in the lab to destroy people of color. Then the law was made that if you were addicted to crack, you were a criminal, and to be highly, uh, your years in prison and jail and whatever, being caught with crack, selling crack, having it on your person and all that shit, was, you had a lot of time. Demonized, that's the word I was trying to use. They demonized people that were addicted to crack cocaine, yet non-melanated people that are addicted to opiates, another government-made substance to destroy us people of all colors. But the main non-color that they worry about that are addicted to opiates will be the non-melanated people. And when you are addicted to opiates as a non-melanated person, you're considered a patient. You're sick. You have an illness. It's a disease. But when you were melanated with these type of addictions and afflictions, you're a criminal, and it's just not fair. And like I said, the word melanated is what really describes us as a people. You are not black. There's no such thing as a black person. We can definitely argue about this in the comments. There is no change in my mind in this. If I have awakened you in any way, hi, good morning. Thanks for waking up. And when you know better, you do better. I don't think we should be out here calling our young men and women niggers, niggas, or black. I think being called black. And then, like, next time a non-melanated person says black person or a black man or black woman, I know you hear that negativity in that word. I know you hear it. It's not just me. You hear it. No one says black person in a positive way, because there's really no positive way to say it or hear it. Once you know what you know about that word, I mean, like, words are very powerful. They can kill, destroy, build, create. It's very powerful, the words that are coming out of our mouths. And I feel like as a people, we are still oppressed. We still are affected by our Holocaust, slavery. That was our Holocaust. That was definitely a Holocaust, a genocide of a people in this country. We're still actively affected by it. And I feel like we're actively affected, negatively actively affected by it, because the word black is a curse. And if we let that word black go and just call ourselves people, melanated people, people of Israel, Hebrew, however far back you can truly get to your roots, because some of us were slaves and treated like property. And, like, let's just think about it. Where did you buy your chair from in 1984, if you were alive around there? 1984, where did you buy that chair? you know, and that's kind of hard to remember where you bought that chair in 1994 and who was the makers of that chair, because the type of information isn't really kept. No one really cares about where they bought a chair from 1994. So why would they care where they bought that human in 1885 or 1766? Food for thought. Food for thought. Because giving your DNA to your oppressor to tell you who you are, it's just weird to me. And hey, if they helped you find lost family members and relatives that you never would have known you had because you didn't give your DNA to your oppressor to let you know who else you got related to you or whatever, whatever. I don't know. But yeah, I'm just ranting at this point. 11 minutes seems enough. And if you made it this far, put in the comments, duck. Love you. Bye.